Hey guys, how's it going today? This is Bill once again with the NSPC3. Today we're taking a look at one of the most classic and iconic franchises in Nintendo history. That is Kid Icarus. This version on the Game Boy. This is power card number 5 in the collection. So Kid Icarus, as I'm sure most people are aware, made its debut on the NES. To much fanfare, later found its way over to the Game Boy, playing almost exactly the same way as far as jumping around, shooting arrows, killing bad guys, Greek mythology. Can't go wrong with a game series like this. Not much more needs to be said, so let's take a look at the challenge and see what we got to do today. Okay, so today on the Pro difficulty, they're asking us to get to the boss of the first level without shooting a single arrow. Okay, so what kind of a challenge is this, everyone? That's right, it is a pacifist challenge! Some of my favorite challenges out there, and it just so happens that this one is on one of the most famous Nintendo franchises out there. Alright, so the way that this level's broken down and the way that this game is broken down is there's 3 different level sections consisting of what I call the introductory levels, and then the last section is the labyrinth leading up to the boss, which is by far the most difficult section you have to navigate through. You're going to see there's quite a few tricky sections, and you can't just simply run through everything thinking you're going to have enough life to get to the boss, because you will die if that is the case. You have to successfully know how to evade, manipulate enemies, and you're going to see how it works. Not an easy challenge, but I did enjoy playing it, and as usual, I hope you guys enjoy watching it. Alright, so just a couple basic things to say here about this game. As I mentioned earlier, it plays very similar to the NES version in terms of jumping around, navigating. Obviously, you can't shoot anything in this challenge, so you have to be aware of what's coming up, kind of see what's around. Also, right there, that's a chalice that we just passed very quickly. If you get hurt, it'll refill your health to full, so be aware of where those are at. Also, if you pass one up and you decide to go back down, it will not be there, so if you want to grab it quickly. You may have noticed some doors here. If you go in there, you have an opportunity to get extra treasure and items at a store, perhaps. Obviously, that doesn't really come into play here, so we're just going to bypass them and go straight to the exit. Speaking of which, the first one is right here. So that's the first one down. We got 2 more to go, and then the boss labyrinth level. Second one plays out very similar. In case you haven't noticed this already, these are cycling levels in terms of if you continue to go left or right all the way, it will loop around, so just keep that in mind. The further up that you go horizontally, or excuse me, vertically, the better it's going to be for you because the exit is up top. Also be very aware of the Grim Reaper. If the Grim Reaper sees you, they will spawn a whole bunch of minions after you, and you do not want that since you are trying to take as little damage as possible. I think I do trigger one here in either this or the next level, and if it does happen, I'll show you how to get around it. There's our chalice, we're going to grab it, get our life back to full. Okay, so right here I did trigger the Grim Reaper accidentally, but you're going to notice that the minions come at you diagonally, so if that's the case, they can be avoided. See, where you want to stand is behind that brick wall where the Reaper won't catch you. That harp will change the enemies into hammers, which can be used to break things open. Obviously, we're not going to use any hammers on this playthrough, although technically we can. The challenge says not to shoot any arrows, but we're going to get away with not shooting anything of any kind here. So we're moving on to the end of this level here. Not a whole lot needs to be said. Be very careful of these spiders that come out of the walls at you, and you should get through relatively unscathed. We're now entering the third and final of the introductory levels here. Be careful of those thorns. You're going to see quite a few of them in these first 3 levels. Also, in case you haven't noticed, Kid Icarus does have wings, also known as Pit. He does have wings, meaning if you keep tapping the jump button, you can give yourself more time to float over long pits. So this section right here, when you get to it, let that girder go underneath. Don't jump on it, obviously. Go all the way up. Keep going. There's a free chalice. If you need it, grab it. I was at full health, didn't really need it right there. Continue to go up. Now you see this section right here, there are enemies in the top left. That indicates they're going to loop around here, so just be very careful. I decided to barge right through and take the damage since I basically had full health. There are no more chalices from this point on, so it's lots of skill all the way to the end, and I'm kind of banking on that. But we'll see what happens here. Kid Icarus pit can duck, so make use of that if you need to. We're approaching the end of this third introductory level here. Yeah, this part you want to forcibly jump through the thorns. Don't worry, you will not take damage. So normally in this section you want to lure those enemies over to the far left so they come down and you can jump through safely. Unfortunately, I didn't have a free space to do that. And here we are in the boss labyrinth levels. So there's a very specific map outline you want to follow. Just be very careful about how you go through this. Copy my layout and you will get through successfully, hopefully, if you can evade and manipulate the enemies. So you're going up here. Now watch very carefully what I do here. Go over to the pole and then come back right immediately. You want those snakes to go over to the right. Also, on this ladder section, jump up on the far right-hand side so this slime doesn't get you. Wait for it to be safe, and then jump across. There we go. Go all the way up top and float down. I'm going to go down these steps. Watch very carefully for these ghosts. I'm waiting for a good pattern here. Go. This section right here is very tricky. Ideally, you want to jump up and through on one shot. Otherwise, it could be very painful for you, and you could take 2 or 3 shots. You essentially want to end your run right there. It's going to be nearly impossible if you do. Alright, here we are at the next ghost section. Wait for a good path and go through the door. And that's a case where I was a little too trigger happy, and I forgot to let go of my acceleration. Alright, on this point, go up, go to the far right of that ladder, come down. And then you're going to fall and float all the way across. This section here, you almost have to take a hit. Coming on through. Alright, we got 2 or 3 more screens left until we hit the boss. Alright, this section here, they could turn you into an eggplant. If they do, no worries, no big deal. You don't take damage. It's just an inconvenience. Alright, here's the last screen before the boss. You gotta wait for a good ghost pattern. And unfortunately, I did not do that. I was impatient, but the boss door is over to the right. I was literally about 50 feet away from the boss. So we are just going to try this again. Go through the exact same map path layout that we did the first time. And we're going to hope we have some better luck here. And I'm kind of banking on it because we're entering this section with full life now, which gives me a little bit more confidence. And let's see how it plays out. Alright, here we go. Try number 2 on this next to last screen here. So remember, these eggplant wizard guys, if they hit you, it's not a big deal. Thankfully, they didn't. Alright, next to last screen, right before the boss. Wait for a good pattern. You're going to come down. And if you've got good health like I do, you can basically run right through to the right. And I got lucky there. No hits, and there's the boss. Challenge in the books. See you on the next one.